What's up guys, welcome to today's video. So today we are talking all things programming. What's the best program for you, how many times you should train per week, and everything you need to know. If you're fairly new to the gym or you just have no idea about programming in general, what to do at the gym, what type of workout splits to do, etc., then this video will help a lot. What's the best training program for you and how many times per week should you train? The optimal answer being train as many times as you possibly can, recover and grow from. The practical answer being whatever is sustainable for you, your lifestyle, your goals, and your commitment levels. Now, let's touch on these two answers real quick, and then I'm going to give you some of my favorite guidelines and recommendations to go off for your program. The optimal answer is super simple. If you can train with full intensity, you keep getting stronger, you keep hitting PBs, you keep getting bigger, and you keep recovering, then you should train as many times as you possibly can. Generally speaking, this is basically for athletes or for anyone that their sole focus is to put on as much muscle as humanly possible and they don't really care about much else. This is basically eating, training, sleeping. That's about it. As you can see, that answer is obviously not sustainable for most people, and that's not what most people want. So let's move on to the practical answer. For the practical answer, you only need to ask yourself a few simple questions. Now, the first one being, how many times can you commit to going to the gym and training consistently week in, week out without ever missing a session? For example, let's say you can train 5 times per week right now, but in a few weeks time, you can only train 3 times per week. So you go 5 times this week, and then next week 4, and then 3, and then back to 5, and then 1, and then 2. Like, that's not a good idea. You're much better off just doing 3, 3, 3, 3, and so on. How good is your recovery? AKA, how good's your nutrition, your sleep, what's your stress levels like, etc. Will your current schedule and lifestyle allow this type of program? I think that's one that a lot of people skip over. It's kind of similar to the commitment one. And most importantly is, what are your goals? That's also another thing you need to get super realistic and honest with. Obviously, if your goal is to be a bodybuilder or if your goal is to compete, then you're gonna wanna take all that, push all that to the side, and you're gonna wanna look at the optimal answer. If your goal is to just look good for summer, get ready for your wedding, then you're gonna wanna take all these other things we just said into consideration. Now from here, I'm sure you already know which category you fit in. Are you optimally all you care about is training, eating, and sleeping, or do you wanna fit this into your lifestyle? Once you have this and you've asked yourself those simple questions, you probably have a good understanding of, okay, I can probably commit to X amount of sessions per week, whatever it may be. So now let's put this into a simple plan for you. Now keep in mind, there are a million different ways to write a program. There isn't really a right or wrong way. There's better ways than other ways, yes, but there's no really right or wrong. So here are a few of my recommendations and my personal favorites. If you're training 3 times per week, then I like upper body, lower body, full body, or a push day, a pull day, and a leg day, which could also be a bench press day, a deadlift day, and a squat day. If you're training 4 times per week, I'm a big fan of upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. Or if you're a guy, push, pull, legs, and then arms. If you're a girl, it could be it could be legs, push, pull, glutes. Or one of my personal favorites, chest and back, legs, shoulders and arms, legs. If training 5 times per week, I like 3 upper bodies and 2 lower bodies with the lowers spaced in between upper. So it would look upper, lower, upper, lower, upper. That's more male dominant. If you're more female dominant, or you just want to focus on your legs more, then you could flip it and do 3 lower, 2 upper. I also really like, you do a push day, then a pull day, and a leg day, and then you do a full body push, which means all pressing movements, so chest, shoulders, quads, triceps, and then a full body pull day where you do like basically posterior chain and biceps. If you want to train 6 times per week, I'm a big fan of push, legs, pull, rest, repeat, or just push, legs, pull, repeat. I personally like to put legs in the middle. It just seems a bit more efficient in my opinion, but you could do the standard push, pull, legs, doesn't matter. Personal favorite again, chest and back, legs, shoulders and arms, and then repeat. By the way, when I say repeat, I would hit chest and back, legs, shoulders and arms again in the same week, but they would be different workouts. Or the good old fashioned bro split, which is basically, chest day, leg day, back day, shoulder day, arm day, leg day. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those programs whatsoever. These are just some of my personal favorites and recommendations. As you can see, like I said, there are a million different ways to program this. You can pair basically any muscle groups together. It doesn't have to be, your standard ones that I just read out. You could pair like quads and shoulders together. You can get fancy with it. You can do full body workouts, full body programs. Just the more detailed you get into like splitting up your muscle groups, the more you have to know about what you're doing so you don't interfere with muscle group to muscle group. For example, if you do a heavy deadlift day and like say back, you don't really want to put that before legs because it's going to be a lot of pressure through your lower back. If you have a heavy chest day, I wouldn't follow that up with a heavy shoulder day because it's a lot of pressing, a lot of tension through your front joints. It's very optimal just to at least have one day in between. But apart from that, everything else is pretty easy. Hopefully those will give you a good place to start. Just keep in mind, whenever you're programming with this stuff, you want to keep it as balanced as possible. What I mean by that is how many times are you hitting each muscle group per week. So for example, if you're doing like a bro split, you'd be hitting every muscle group once per week. If you're doing like push-pull legs, 6 times, you'll be hitting it twice. You know, upper lower, that's twice. Unless of course you're doing more of a lagging body part program. You know, I really like chucking in an extra arm day for guys, or just personally myself, because I really want, you know, who doesn't want big arms. One thing we didn't touch on is core work. I'm sure some of you are already asking. Now, I do recommend you program your core in. Definitely do not have a whole day dedicated to core. I think that's completely overkill. And if you do need that, if you do that, then you're probably not training core properly, or you're not training your other muscle groups properly. The reason I say that is because in most movements you do, you will use a fair bit of core. And if you're doing this every day, especially as you're getting stronger, for example, bench pressing, you know, shoulder pressing, leg pressing, squatting, deadlifting, any of that stuff, you're going to be using a lot of core. Now, I still like to target my core. I would just personally put this in 3 times per week wherever you think it fits nicely, or I would just hit it every second day consecutively like that. If you do struggle with this, which is something that I struggled with at the start, because let's be honest, training core sucks and it's boring, then I recommend putting it at the start of your program. Now, we could obviously dive into exercises, reps, sets, training techniques, all that kind of stuff, but we would be here for days, and you're probably sick of listening to my voice right now. So hopefully those program guidelines and that kind of information will have you getting a better understanding of where to start. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling for today. If you want me to dive further into any of these topics, please let me know. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff, and I will see you in the next one.